Okay, so as promised, here's the second of those two videos, and this is really kind of some of the other content that we covered in yesterday's class. Um, Briefly, just a little background about myself. I grew up in North Texas. I'm originally from Oklahoma, but I grew up in North Texas, went to school in Denton. I grew up in a family-owned business just off the University of North Texas campus. That allowed me to spend a lot of time going to school and work at the same time. Graduated in 1994 with my bachelor's degree in business administration. So my area of study was in management, strategic management specifically. In 2001, I graduated with an MBA in business computer information systems. 2003, an MS in information technology, and 2009, a PhD in business computer information systems. My first year out, after my doctorate, I had a visiting professorship in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania at Bloomsburg University. So it was a lot of fun, but it was just a one-year deal. Spent the next year at Eastern New Mexico University in a tenure track position, but the position opened up here at Tarleton the following year, and I jumped at the chance to get back a little closer to home. So I've been here since then, so I'm starting my fourth year here at Tarleton, and I'm very grateful to be here. So the rest of this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about the syllabus and the schedule to kind of help you understand what some of the expectations are for the class, and how the class is going to unfold in terms of the schedule. So here on the home page in Blackboard, the navigation structure here on the left-hand side, we have the syllabus, which is a link right there to a Google Doc. As I mentioned in class yesterday, the Google Doc is set up so that you can leave comments. So if you see something that's not very clear, by all means, please feel free to add a comment and let me know so that I can clarify that and make it a little bit clearer for other students. Basic information there at the top, when and where we meet, all that kind of stuff. My email I don't post because if it's course related, I want you to send messages inside of Blackboard, and so that's why I don't provide it there. My office hours are Tuesdays and Thursdays, pretty much after class until 3 p.m. I try to have virtual office hours as well on Tuesdays via Google Hangouts. I can't promise I'll be able to make that every time. Occasionally meetings come up, things like that kind of affect some of those office hours. My phone number is there. It is absolutely not the best way to get in touch with me. Certainly email messages are by far the best way to get in touch with me. The textbook that we're going to be using there, as well as a link to the website there that we had talked about in the Blackboard video, a link to the SAM site, Cengage, if you need to take a look at that. My advice is that you get this through the bookstore, because it comes bundled as a group, so you're going to get a better deal that way. At least you should, but that way you're getting exactly what you need. Course description, that's there. You don't have to. That's kind of boilerplate type stuff. In a lot of my syllabi, I like to include something from the Bureau of Labor Statistics that's really specific about that field. So if it were web development, I'd find some content on web developers. If it's security, on security. If it's on networking, then something about networking. It's kind of hard to find something specific on information systems in general, but I did run across this here, and so I kind of gave you a generic look at it. And this kind of helps to demonstrate or illustrate the breadth of the information systems field. It's a very broad field, and so regardless of your major, everybody's going to be impacted by computer systems and information systems in some way, shape, or form. And that's kind of what this demonstrates. And the educational requirements as well as the salary expectations vary significantly depending on the field that you end up in. So if information systems seems somewhat interesting but you're not quite sure exactly what it is, take a look through some of that content there. A little bit later on, as you become juniors and seniors, if you don't already have a job lined up, certainly contact Career Services over there. That is, you're kind of paying for this in your tuition dollars. So take advantage of that. They can help you develop your resumes. They can help you create a video resume. They can help you do all kinds of stuff. They do mock interviews and stuff. so they can really help you out in terms of getting ready for the workforce. Being enrolled in a CIS class also entitles you to access to a lot of free Microsoft titles. I absolutely recommend that you take advantage of this, especially if you're a CIS major. There's no better way to get familiar with a lot of these products than to download them and play with them. So absolutely take advantage of it. If you're not a CIS major, once you're out of this course, you don't have access to these titles anymore. So again, if I were you, I would try to take advantage of this perhaps a little bit more quickly than the CIS majors. Most of the students at the very beginning of the semester, this next part is what they want to see. They want to see about the course deliverables and exams. What is it going to take for me to be able to get an A in this class? Or what are the assignments that I'm going to have to do? So I'll let you read through all that in a little bit more detail, but essentially there's assessments, there's homework, assessments being things like quizzes, homework, which are SAM assignments, which we talked about in the previous video, the information that you're going to need to sign up for SAM, and then the exams. And again, the exams, as I mentioned in class yesterday, there's several exams. Each exam has two components. It has an objective-based component in Blackboard, and then it has a task-based component in SAM. And so you'll have to complete both of those to maximize your chances on passing the exams. So if all my math is correct, here's our table for each of the assignments, and this is what I was talking about. This is where you're going to want to record your scores. So in Blackboard, when I record your scores, rather than using the Blackboard gradebook, which I absolutely despise, take note of your score and come over here and do your copy of your syllabus and put your score down. Keep track of your score that way. That way you know exactly where you stand over the course of the semester. So keep all of that in mind. As far as the assessments, they are open to take as many times as you want. Up until the due date and time, you can take those assessments over and over and over again, and your highest score, not your last score, your highest score is the one that's kept. So if you take it and you do poorly on it, poorer on it than you did in a previous attempt, don't stress about it. I'm going to take your highest attempt. As far as assignments, with the exception of homework 0, all of them are in SAM. So you'll see that the pre-tests are worth 25 and all the homeworks are worth 100 points. They're all in SAM except for HW0. Those allow you to submit them 5 times, so you've got 5 attempts to maximize your score there, so you really should have a pretty good homework score as well. The exams, there's a total of 4 exams. The first one over Word, there's again 2 parts, 250 points worth out of the textbook and 250 points out of SAM for a total of 500 points. Same thing for exam 2, it's half of it's in SAM except that it's over Excel. For the third exam, the other half is over PowerPoint, and then there's the final exam, which half comes from SAM, half from Blackboard, and the SAM component will consist of both Word, or all of Word, PowerPoint, and Excel components. So you expect a variety of tasks to complete for the final exam. What constitutes an A, B, C, D, and F? Late assignments, because all of the quizzes and all the homework are already posted, I don't take anything late. This is why I've encouraged you in class and in the other video to complete things a little bit early. So get ahead just a little bit, and that way you've kind of got some built-in wiggle room. As far as expectations, you're in college, do your work, and you're going to be fine. Check Blackboard at least once a day. That way if I send out an announcement or there's a change or something, you'll be aware of it. Turn your things in on time, communicate, all of those types of issues. Academic dishonesty, the first time you get if you'll read through the policy, I believe you get the very first time you get a 0 on the assignment. The second time you get an F in the class. The third time is grounds for being removed from the university. Lastly is the Center for Access and Academic Testing. If you need some sort of an accommodation, realize I cannot give that to you. That is something that is done at the university level. That is their job over there, is to do this, and they will issue you a letter, and I'm going to follow the advice of whatever that letter happens to say. Whatever it tells me the accommodation needs to be, whether it's extra time on the exams or whatever it happens to be, I'm going to follow their advice. That's what they get paid to do, and that's their expertise. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule real quick, and hopefully I can kind of help you to decipher what I mean by the various columns in the table and the rows. So here in the far left column we have the various weeks. So week 1, week 2, week 3, etc. We have the dates for each of those weeks. So this is a Tuesday, this is a Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday, etc. The very first class day, yesterday, we covered the content that we covered in this video and the previous video with the introductions, syllabus, discussion of SAM, etc. Being the first day, we didn't have anything due, so there's nothing in that cell. Thursday, again, is still in week 1. It's the 28th tomorrow. We're going to be covering chapter 1. Hopefully you've read chapter 1 by then, and we'll have a pretty good idea of what's in that chapter. Due tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. are these items. You may have completed some of them already, and if so, that's great. That's exactly what you should be doing. Others you may be waiting till after class, and that's okay too. Just make sure that you get them done by that deadline. So tomorrow we have assessment pretest that needs to be completed. We have homework 0, which needs to be completed. That's the form that you need to fill out and folder that you need to create, etc. And then we have assessment 0, or the quiz, or the syllabus that's due. So those are the 3 things that are due tomorrow night by 9:30 p.m. So make sure you've got those done. Next Tuesday, you've got these things that are due. As I mentioned in class, it's kind of an optional day. I'll tell you on these blank cells here on the left, or here kind of under the topics column, on these blank cells, I'll tell you if we absolutely have to meet, if we're going to do something specifically in class that day. Otherwise, my plan is to show up myself in class and answer any questions that you have. So for example, I'm going to show up that day if you, knowing that assessment 1 is due that day and that homework 1 is due that day. If you've already over the weekend started playing with Sam and homework 1 and you run into some sort of a problem, come to class and we'll talk about it. We'll try to figure out what the issue is. We'll try to help you through that and see if we can't help you to improve your grade in SAM. That's what I'm going to do on those days. That's my plan for those days. And it'll just kind of continue from day to day, every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the course of the semester, with that familiar pattern. There are a few exceptions to this. Obviously, we have Thanksgiving that kind of throws things off just a little bit. There's one particular day that I tried to plan around that I'll be gone for a week, for 5 days to Dallas for SANS training, security training, and so that's what I'll be doing, and I won't be around for that. I will have access to email, and certainly in the evenings I will respond to messages and things of that nature during that time. There's another date a little bit later in the semester, at which point I'll be gone to a conference, and that's the time period right around Thanksgiving. I know that's kind of convenient for some of you and all that kind of stuff. And as I said, some of these blank days, we may have some things that pop up that we need to discuss, and we'll have formal class on those days, and I'll let you know in advance when that occurs. So these are the due days and times that you need to be aware of over here. And then the final exam window on 12/4 to 12/1 is the overall exam window. It's actually going to be available from the very beginning of 12/4. That should say 6:30 until 9:30 p.m. on Sunday evening. So that is the schedule. I think it's fairly intuitive and fairly straightforward, but I wanted to kind of step you through that just in case you have any questions. If there is anything confusing about it, shoot me a message, let me know. we can certainly discuss it in class. I want to make sure that everybody knows exactly how to read the schedule and knows what to do. Because again, I don't take late assignments, so I want to make sure that you know what the expectations are. So again, if you have any questions, shoot me a message or talk to me in class. Take care.